Hello and welcome to the Shooting Outdoors channel, proudly supported by FMG Gun Shop Dunchurch. This is a bonus material for the 17722 battle that we've been doing. We're at a HFT range today, so the shotgun's just behind me, and then there's, not that people use shotguns on HFT ranges, but it's probably beneficial, to be honest with you, because I ain't that good either. And then a rear control car thing just over the other side of the woods for people who need a real hobby. Okay, limiting the M's and ums and obviously's. So this is to go into what we didn't cover, essentially. So we started discussing windage, and we said, yeah, trajectory wise 177 is the better calibre because it's easy to tie into the mill dot, which is true, it does. However, the other thing to remember is a 2.2 does stay straighter. So to take error out of your shot in high winds, which I did on Sunday night, took the 2.2 with me because of the high winds, because most of my kills were going to be sub 20 yards, so there was very difference between 177 and 2.2, but I just get that little bit of precision of using the 2.2 in high winds. So when your range is close right in, and this is what we're saying again about farm yard rifle, the 2.2 is probably the better calibre to go for, where it's really windy and most of your work is sub 20 yards. The 2.2 really is the more manageable calibre for that. The other thing that we didn't discuss was the surface area. So I thought I'd left it in there, but I hadn't. Tom discussing elephant's foot versus stiletto, and what we come down to in that, what I'm meaning is, you've got a bigger surface area trying to get through that shell and deformation, which we've seen past sort of 20 yards, the 2.2 starts to struggle. 35 yards, 30 yards is probably your maximum. The other thing to consider this is as well is what direction your target's facing you. So I squished or splattered 3 rabbits. I had 2 of them on the side and 1 of them head on. What we found, or what I found, was when on the head on thing, it didn't do that much damage to the rabbit. The rabbit was about 25 yards. It was just out of my comfort range, but there was a tailwind, so it was a clean shot to take. I wasn't going to get much deviation, hit it in the shoulder. But that 2.2's got a bigger surface area, it doesn't dig as deep. So when you're hitting a rabbit, say head on, you've got a lot more bone, a lot more shell, a lot more to get to before you hit that material. A rabbit's brain is quite far back. So that's something else to consider. You've got that little bit more execution with a 177 because you get that little bit deeper penetration. The other thing I don't think we discussed very well, or put over to you very well, was what happens when you hit that material. So we went on about ballistic polymers, why we haven't used them in this test. We just wanted to slow the pellet down. We didn't want any wound channel ultimately. We just wanted it to drive in and stay there, which is not why we didn't use the ballistic putty. What happens ultimately, the pellet goes in and it moves the material out and around. That material's got to go somewhere, so it comes out around the head of the pellet. That's where you get your initial wound channel from. The spinning and all the rest of it of the pellet, which we saw as the pellet was driven in and slowed down and braked, probably aids all that and just makes that wound channel mushier, so that when it closes up, you end up with expands and then contracts. You end up with a little bit of a secondary wound channel. There is a proper name for it, but I forget the proper vocabulary for it right now. What we were trying to show in these tests were the difference between the 2 calibers functionally. So if one does deviate from the wind, how far by, what's the differential between the 2, then the grouping, how far the groups deviate and break up. The second thing we were trying to look at really was more knockdown and penetration. Trajectory was something we were going to cover anyway, but it wasn't the be all and end all because we knew what it was going to be like. We'd set both the trajectories to a 1-inch kill zone, so 1/2 inch deviation from your line of sight up and down vertically, so that we had a true reflection of how the 2 were kind of differing. Knockdown and penetration was literally all about that. So we were trying to display the difference between having that extra weight and that extra surface area. We're also trying to capture how far that the pellet drove in. We weren't interested in wound channels and everything else that was going on. That's just a different product, a whole different thing that we'll attack later on when we can get more consistent materials to what we're trying to what our targets are made of, and the shell as well. We don't always air these the day before we put them out, so the comments are usually coming in long after we've uploaded the videos. and that's why I felt it was probably worth at this point us just going ahead and doing this little bit of bonus to tag on to the back of, because we didn't explain it very well the first time round. Don't know if I've actually done that today, but that's what we were ultimately trying to work out. That was the point between the tests. Hopefully that ties in any of the gaps that we had. As always, stay safe, shoot straight, subscribe to the channel, give us your comments, give us your feedback. We do take them on board, we do listen to them. I've got some other stuff that's in the pipeline now, and we're busy working on that, so you'll probably get that sort of August, September time, when holidays are down, supercars have stopped being crashed by presenters, and we'll catch you later. Thanks for watching, goodbye.